I just went through like 30 miles of road construction on a highway. You know how you get diverted, you go on the other side of the highway and all that crap. Well, it was the absolute worst, worst road construction, um, alternative road or whatever you want to call it. It was so bumpy and so horrible. I mean, the speed limit was 55 and I was doing that around 50, 55. If I went any faster, the camper would have fallen off the truck. It was stupid. Anyway, I'm at a Love's truck stop right now, got gas. I just saved like $4.60, by the way, using the Love's app and my Gas Buddy card, which was a great deal. And I just stopped to make some lunch and take a little break. I am on the way to a Harvest Host brewery. I'll check that out when I have, do a video when I get there. Anyway, made a roast beef sandwich with the classic celery and carrots and my horseradish dip. Howdy, howdy. Well, I took another detour on my way to my next Harvest Host place, which is a brewery. I already said that. Anyway, I stopped at Kings Mountain National Military Park. I did a quick Google when I was at Love's to see what was around here, just to do something rather than just go straight to the brewery. And this is the first place that popped up, and it was only like 3 miles or 3.5 miles off the highway, so it was right on the way. So anyway, I'm going to check it out. It's got hiking trails. Maybe I'll do some hiking. We'll see how it goes. I'm going to go into the visitor center now and check this place out. Well, I'm at the visitor center, and it's pretty neat. They've got a few really cool guns on display. This guy, Patrick Ferguson, Major Patrick Ferguson, was said to be the best shot in the British Army. Interesting. He patented this breech loading rifle. I'm going to stay here too long because I do need to get going eventually. But, see what I can see here. This place is pretty interesting. I'm glad I stopped. For a free exhibit, this is pretty neat. I'm glad I stopped. I am going to go check out the trails. They said they have a trail that goes all the way around the battlefield, so I'm going to go check that out. So I'm leaving the visitor center, just walking up to my truck. I can't help but look at it and go, wow, I really like this rig. Anyway, I'm going to go, it's like a mile and a half, she said, the trail. I'm going to go check that. Oh my God. They got these friggin' beetles all over my camper. This happened to me in Vermont. And they got in, and I had them for weeks and weeks and weeks, actually months. I couldn't get rid of them. Oh, I gotta send this to a buddy. So this trail goes along the base of Kings Mountain, and it follows the same path that the Patriot Forces followed on October 7th, 1780. There was more than 1,000 American loyalists, they're calling them, under the command of British officer Major Patrick Ferguson, which I saw earlier. They got to introduce that gun. And the fighting was crazy. It was like from tree to tree, and it only lasted about an hour. This is kind of a cool display. It kind of depicts the tree to tree battling that these guys were doing. I don't know if you can see these or not. But they just got these little silhouettes. And it's kind of just depicting what this battle was like. For all you folks with dogs, pick up the poop. And that doesn't mean you pick it up and put it in a bag and then leave it on the trail like I see so many times. The trail has a cool thing. It's got, you can call a number on your cell phone and then punch the number of the spot you're at, and it gives you a cool explanation of what happened in that particular area. Kind of neat. I've never done anything like that before, so it's kind of a cool thing. As I'm listening to the audio tour of this little hike, it amazes me, when I think about those battles and kind of how archaic the fighting was, compared to what we have now. It's pretty incredible that anyone even survived those fights. But anyway, yeah, this is it's pretty informative. I'm glad I stopped here. Interesting. I mean, I didn't even know about this battle, but North Carolina sent more patriots to fight here than any other state. And although they call them over the mountain men from Virginia and Tennessee, seem to gain greater fame on this for the King's Mountain victory. Just kind of interesting. Again, I didn't know a lot about. I'm not. My history is horrible anyway, but this is kind of a neat thing. I really like this self-guided tour with the ability to call a phone number and find out some more information. It's so wild. You think about these kids. Really, they were kids. A lot of them were 17, 18 years old. There was one kid here, 16 actually. They talked about it in a previous stop. But anyway, just think about trudging through here. I guess it was soaking rain that day, and trying to not get shot and win a battle. That's pretty amazing, especially when like I said, when you think about how old some of these kids were. It was pretty crazy. I mean, some of the commanding officers were kids. Pretty wild. So kind of interesting. I guess the mantra, if you want to call it that, of this battle was be your own officer. And it's when we encounter the enemy, don't wait for a word from the command. Let each of you be your own officer and do the very best you can. In the woods, shelter yourselves and give them Indian play. Advance from tree to tree, killing and disabling all you can. That was Isaac Shelby. He was a Tennessee Patriot leader. I'm really glad I stopped here. This place is really nice, and there was no admission charge. They had a little gift store if you want, and a place for donations too. Of course, I bought a sticker. I get a sticker from every national park that I've been to. Just something, I don't know, something I do. So this talks about how no one during that time expected basically men armed with hunting weapons to be able to face and defeat real soldiers trained to use their bayonets. I mean, they had the more sophisticated rifles with bayonets, and it's pretty neat how these guys just charged up the mountainside twice and defeated these trained soldiers with more sophisticated weapons. So this is a monument where President Hoover addressed an audience of 75,000 to celebrate the Battle of Kings. Anyway, again, it talks about less than 1,000 men, inspired by the urge of freedom, defeated a superior force. This small band of patriots turned back a dangerous invasion well designed to separate and dismember the United Colonies. This was, we know when you think about all these different battles and all the things that happen and how little, like, I know about it. I don't know, just pretty cool when you think back about history. And again, I was never a real history buff. I kind of wish I were, because this stuff is very interesting. As an aside, this is kind of neat. This tree grew around this rock here. You can really tell, but that's a rock. That this tree actually just grew right around it. Pretty cool. Not sure what this monument says on it yet, but it's really beautiful. And it's surrounded by these beetles, man. Oh, this is my second encounter with beetles in the last year and a half. I got, well, that's a story for another time. But anyway, this thing is pretty dope. I have to go check it out. So this talks about Patrick Ferguson was a soldier for 20 years in Europe. And he was supposedly, like I mentioned earlier, the best marksman in the British forces. And him being defeated here was a surprise for everybody, especially because who would have thought, again, a bunch of hunters would have such an impact on the British Army, right? It's just pretty amazing. And this park is nice. Again, you know, no admission. It's got the cell phone audio tour. Pretty cool. does have some ups and downs though. I'm getting a little bit of a workout, which is kind of nice too. I wish I would have started my workout on my phone sooner. I probably started it about halfway through this walk. So this talks about the backwoodsman and how it was just a complete surprise to all the British officers how rough and rugged and tough they were and how they defeated them. It was pretty amazing because no one expected from the British side to lose this battle. So I finished my tour. It was 1.5 miles long, and they got these things. They look like ladybugs, but they're not. They're some kind of beetle, and they actually bite. The last time I saw these, I was in Vermont at a friend's house, and my camper became infested with them. They got in somehow, and I was digging those things out for weeks and weeks, even months. And like a year later, I still found some dead ones. But anyway, yeah, it's pretty crazy. And I'm actually walking over to my camper now to see if they're still there. Okay, I'm back at my camper, and yeah, so it is surrounded by these stupid little beetles. Like I say, they look like ladybugs, but they're not. And probably can't see them, but they are loaded. There's so many. And I really want to go in my camper to get a drink, but I am not opening the door because the last time I got these things in my camper, they were in there for weeks and weeks, and they do bite. They're not so they're not the cute little ladybugs that you all think they are. These things actually bite, and it's not pleasant, but they're everywhere. And I really want to get a cold drink, but I'm not going in there. They probably got in somehow or another anyway. But I am not taking the chance of opening that door because last year when they got in there, man, there was so many, and I could not get rid of the little suckers. So one of them got in my truck, and I squished it because they bite. But anyway, this is a close-up. They look like ladybugs, but they're not. The canopy on this road in and out of the park is actually beautiful. This road is really, really nice. I bet you a week or two ago when the leaves were actually colorful, it must have looked really nice. But just wanted to take a video of this because it really is pretty neat looking. Yeah, this is a pretty awesome road actually.